Your eyes crack open. The room is still dark. Before you even have a conscious thought, your hand is already slipping out from under the covers, reaching for the glowing rectangle on your nightstand. Then comes the feeling, a tight knot forming in your chest, a sudden, quiet wave of dread. Before your feet have even touched the floor, you are strapped into the passenger seat, swept away by a rushing river of to-do lists, past regrets, and future worries. This rapid sequence is a survival mechanism. It is a system built for speed and prediction, prioritizing the patterns it already knows to prepare you for the day ahead. It is running an ancient autopilot. This system operates entirely on hidden scripts, code written by years of your past experiences, your emotional reactions, and the specific things that trigger your reward systems. It uses all that stored data to try and predict the future, attempting to keep you safe by preparing you for the worst. If you want to step out of that rushing stream of morning anxiety, you have to look under the hood. Understanding how this invisible backstage machinery actually works gives you the tools to take the wheel and start directing your own reality. Let's slow down that micro moment of waking up. If we zoom into the fraction of a second before you grab your phone, we can step back as a calm observer and watch your inner mind at work. The very first system to power on is the Default Mode Network, or DMN. Think of the DMN as your brain's tireless background movie editor. The moment your mind is not laser-focused on a specific external task, this network takes over the projector. Looking at this network diagram, we can see how the DMN prepares you for the day. It pulls scattered nodes of task failures, old embarrassments, and familiar fears, stitching them together into a single, repeating loop. It writes a script predicting that today will be just as stressful as yesterday. Deep inside your brain, your emotional threat detectors, specifically the amygdala, read that worst-case scenario script as a real-time signal. As you see the pathway flash and drop here, the amygdala sounds an alarm, triggering a physical stress response. Your chest tightens and your heartbeat accelerates, all before you are fully awake. This morning anxiety represents the DMN executing a defensive, outdated script, rather than a reliable forecast of your actual day. Now that the emotional alarm is ringing, your brain enters a state of high alert. It begins to aggressively seek evidence in the real world to validate the perceived threat it just created. Enter the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. The RAS acts as a sensory bouncer at the base of your brain, strictly controlling what information is allowed into your conscious awareness. To validate the amygdala's alarm, the RAS tunes its spotlight toward negative inputs. It pushes confidence to the back of the line and lets the threats through. This is why the first thing you notice on your screen is a slightly critical work email or a bleak news headline. Your brain has now manufactured a threat and found outside evidence to support it. The resulting stress feels overwhelming, and your biology demands an immediate mechanism to soothe that discomfort. Right on cue, the reward system steps in. It releases a targeted craving fueled by dopamine, pushing you toward a familiar, low-effort distraction to numb the pain. That craving is what physically forces your thumb to start the endless, mindless scroll on social media. It provides a tiny, momentary hit of relief from the anxiety your own brain just created. This internal machinery functions as a highly coordinated team, even when its old habits cause friction. It is executing the instructions it currently has, but it is ready for a new leader to provide better ones. Let's run that exact same morning routine again, but this time you are stepping in as the gentle guide, actively interrupting the automatic sequence. You wake up, the DMN boots up, you feel the dopamine urge to grab the phone and scroll, but instead of letting the autopilot win, you pause for 10 seconds. You take one deep breath, and you offer yourself a quick, out-loud word of praise, like, "I am in control." Swapping habitual responses with positive actions intercepts the reward system. Instead of deepening old ruts, you carve new neural pathways. Like an air traffic controller, you catch negative thoughts and redirect them from their usual gates toward a new runway built on gratitude. Persistent, intentional repetition can train the brain to prioritize these narratives of resilience. Over time, the internal machinery begins to accept these stories as its new default setting. As these new pathways strengthen, the RAS starts actively filtering for positive opportunities to match the updated script. The DMN loops gradually begin to shift, and the emotional alarms triggered by the amygdala start to quiet down. These tiny conscious interventions allow you to step out of the passenger seat. You are training your internal backstage crew to work for you, physically rewiring your mind circuit by circuit.